it is. And so we go looking in all the wrong places. We start scratching our nose, and we know the action is right, right? And there's a relief for a moment, right? And oh, wait a minute, no. It's like having a mosquito bite. You just keep doing it till it bleeds, but it doesn't do any good, right? It makes no difference whatsoever, because we think that the source of the itch is that something out there is missing. And in fact, what's missing is a connection to who you really are, to your soul.
That itch is the longing to satisfy and reconnect, or is it the itch is the drive? Because that one was really interesting to me. Is it the drive? Is it because you know how we all search and go, what we need to know our why? You know, we have our purpose, but why? Is the itch the why? Is it scratching the why? Does it matter why?
Um, well, the quest for why is part of it. I mean, when we're asking why, we're really trying to get to the bottom of causality. Why is this happening the way it is, right? So the question, why am I itching, is a legitimate one, right? The question is, the problem is we don't take that question far enough. So we go, the reason you're itching there, that's because when you were a child, mom didn't let you eat the chocolate all day, right? That's why it is. And so you start working on that. So, okay, I'm going to itch that, right? And nothing happens. It doesn't really resolve itself. There may be short-term relief, but no long-term elimination. And so that's where it all comes from. So the itch is appropriate,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Because something is missing. The scratch is appropriate because of course I want to do something about it. The asking why it's there is also appropriate, but we always come up with the wrong answer and therefore are always scratching in the wrong place.
So if we go deeper after the why, it's where.
Yeah, where's this really coming from, right? What is the real source of this? And after literally thousands of years seeking the alleviation of suffering through external means and the manipulation of circumstances and people and the creation of philosophies, you'd think by now we get a clue that this isn't working.
Right.
You'd think.
I, I'm curious as to, okay, so because I wonder if it's still external. So I've got an itch. I can scratch it if I knew where. Can somebody else scratch it? Or can they only say, hey,
Yeah.
scratch your butt, not your nose?
Well, yeah, that's all they can do. I mean, they can scratch your nose with you, and that won't do any good either.
Yeah. Yeah, we're both
Um,
scratching in the wrong place.
you know yeah, at this point the metaphor falls apart because the source of the discomfort is the disconnection from your soul, and only you can make that journey back. Nobody can do that for you. We can set up road signs, right? We can point out the potholes and we can point you in the right direction, but you have to walk it. This is the spiritual demand, the spiritual practice that absolutely everybody has to go through.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And now this, yes, that was, and that's a gentle way of saying. So the metaphor, though, however cute and funny it is, it does fall apart, and now we also can break it down. And so that I'm wondering,
It's about it's the simple revelation of who you've always been, and and who you've always been is a big surprise, because the whole separation is you created an entire identity. Well, you didn't. The nervous system created an entire identity that isn't you. It's completely fictitious. It was designed, it was created in order to present a version of you to the environment that would guarantee that you were taken care of, that you remained safe. And the real you got squirreled away somewhere where it was completely out of sight with even to you. And that's what I refer to as soul disconnection. The reality of you becomes disassociated with you. So the qualities that would normally have been just the flow of life and you just thoroughly enjoy them now become dangerous and have to be kept locked in the basement,
yes,
hoping they shut up, but they never do. That's the itch. They never shut up.
Oh, yeah. That's yes, that's right, okay. Well, I was gonna say, if you guys need to know about the angels in the basement, you've gotta get the free ebook. It's incredible. I'm gonna ooh, you know what's funny, GP? Sometimes, you'll say some stuff and I think, ooh, that's gonna shake the world up a little bit. But I'm going to bring something up that may shake up the world because I thought about it this morning pertaining exactly to this. You gotta love yourself. We hear that all the time. Self-love, I've done series and interview like all on self-love, and I love it. If it sounds good, it feels good and everything. But I woke up this morning and I woke up and I said, "Oh, I love myself." And I was like, "But I actually can't love myself because I'm seeing myself. So I am just love." So I want to bring in non-duality here on this.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a big one. And I went,
Well done, grasshopper.
yes, yes, because it actually felt wrong to say I love myself, and I kind of stop there. So
Yes.
please, if everybody is your commenting along, we are doing School Live, so we kind of do that show. We have the class, the student, the teacher here, and then we open up. We read out the lovely comments that you have here, a little bit more than halfway through, and this one about because. I think people are scratching their nose, as am, could be, when they say, I've got to love myself, or you've got to love yourself first, or self love. I think it's this. So I don't know. Could we expand
That's
on that?
very that's very good, and I could take it on various levels. But let's go right to the non-dual, which is which was the actual experience that you had. When you say "I love myself," you've created a duality. There's me, and there's this something I'm supposed to love. Well, if there's something out there I'm supposed to love, right, it can't be me, as you said. And this is just ponder it for a moment, and it becomes clear. Anything that I can perceive can't be me. Right? So that means that I need to love what? Right? And since I can't step aside from myself and look at myself and have affection towards the object, I find that I'm the source of that love. I am that love. That is actually who I am. I'm not someone who loves, nor am I an object to be loved. I am love itself. And that is a very different sense of self than a person who is loving, right? Very different, because love is in that case, love becomes an object. And maybe I'll love sometimes, and other times that love can easily become hate, it can become resentment, it can become indifference, because it's now just a state of this unstable person that we already said doesn't really exist. It was created by the nervous system as a defense mechanism. And so it's highly unstable, it's highly reactive, it's just responding to the environment, and so it is incapable actually of love. Its love is always constrained. It is always based on its own needs, right? And so there's a certain amount of transactional basis in that. Yeah, I'll love you, but first I need you to do this, this, and this, right? Then I'll love you.
So the
Um,
love of an identity is actually a resource. Is that
the love of an
so?
identity.
If I have an identity, Lisa, and I'm loving, that's actually my identity, Lisa's identity's resource
Uh-huh.
to
Yeah. Yes.
have a
So
transaction.
yeah, and this is why it becomes very difficult to people who say, "Well, how can I love it? Love that? Look at all the stupid things she does." Right.
Yeah.
Right. But as long as I think that image that I'm trying to love is me, I will find it to be impossible. Right. Right. Because I can't love something that's not really lovable. And that image isn't inherently lovable. It's got all sorts of nasty stuff. It's unstable. It can betray. It can lie. It can cheat. It's also capable of wonderful things and altruism, but it's unstable. It's all over the place. We've all had that feeling, you're just head over heels in love, and 2 days later, I hate you. Right? It's like.
That identity is unstable. It went somewhere else.
Well, exactly so. We think, oh, this is forever, but it can't be. It can't be when love is anchored in the false sense of identity, which is inherently unstable. Love cannot therefore be stable. It will come and go. It will go into flux with the sense of identity. We have to anchor that in the true self, in that which is there, no matter what the sense of self is doing, no matter what the identity is doing, up, down, back, forth, love, hate, there's something completely stable and unmoving that's aware of it. That's really love, and that is the true I. That's the true point of cognition. That's consciousness. That's the self. That's sentience. A lot of names for
Yeah. It's almost like we need to rebrand love, but anyway, sorry.
it. That's right.
When we talk about people, students who perhaps have come to you because other things haven't worked, and number one thing I often hear, including myself at a time, was I simply cannot meditate. Um, uh, what would be what they're, I don't want to say what they're really saying, but what is underneath that there's, what are they experiencing when people are saying I can't meditate?
Well, first off, kind of continuing along the thread, the separate self can't meditate. It's too unstable. It becomes, what people do think is that meditation is, I've got to stop this. I got to stop thinking. I've got to stop thought, and you can't do it.
Right.
You can't stop the mind. As Muji puts it, he says, trying to stop the mind is like trying to stop the wind dressed as a kite.
Oh, yeah.
You can't. It can't be done, right? Because that which is trying to meditate is the ego. Okay?
Right.
Meditation is taking a step back and just watching thought. That anybody can do. And I've taken people who have never meditated and people who have meditated for years and never had that experience. And within moments, they go, oh, because it's a shift in intention. Instead of trying to make thought a step back to see it. Otherwise, you just be distracted.
I'm liking this word watching. This is a game changer for a second here, because what everybody watch
that you are happiness, not a mantra that just kind of changes the energy system so that it's more aligned with that, because the sense of self is still separate. You still are identified with something that isn't you.
Yes, and proving here that happiness is not a result, I think.
Correct. No,
Okay.
no, it can't be.
It's a
It,
revelation. It's a being.
if happiness is the result of something, it has a beginning, which means it has an end, which means
Oh,
that
can't be true.
it will always have to go in contrast with misery.
Right. And I've learned, guys, too, I'm giving my students Cole's notes here, is that something that can begin and end is not truth, because true is always true. There is no beginning, and truth doesn't have a beginning.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Yes, that which is can't have an origin, right? It is, because if it did, then be a point where it wasn't. So it can't be what is. So truth is self-existent. It's timeless. I mean, our minds can't conceive something self-existent, because for the mind, in order for minds to function, there must be a reference point, right?
Yes.
And that reference point is usually just another thought that we've all agreed on, right? And if we believe in it strongly, we'll die and kill to defend that thought, right? Because
Right.
this is what I've founded my identity on, right? But of course, any point of reference is going to be relative. It's going to be unstable. Kingdoms rise and fall. But so the only thing that isn't unstable would have to be the truth.
Yes.
And what's the truth? The truth is being. It is I am. See the similarity? That I am the truth.
Yes, yes. Yes, because now we have a real deep definition there of both. And I'm also seeing that that's why you don't need to defend truth, because there is no reference point. There is no resistance. There's no battle. There's no ending of it. There's no like, ooh, truth might end. So, or we might lose the truth. You can't say that. It's
No,
impossible. So that's why
it's impossible.
oh,
Yeah,
this
it's
is fun.
impossible. You
This is
can't
fun.
lose it. You can temporarily obscure it, right? And believe otherwise, right? But those beliefs will always come and go. The truth doesn't.
Yes.
That's why that's why Christ could say with such confidence, "Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away."
Right. Yeah. Oh, and I just the word caught me there, unconditional. That's so true because there's no condition, there's no story, there's no attachment, there's no resistance, there's no need to prove, defend, all these things. Oh, wow.
No, it's absolute. It's absolute. It is pure. It is the only power there actually is, and it doesn't need to assert itself to be powerful.
Mhm. No assertion. Yes.
Yeah, and
That is
it
so
has no need to convince anybody, which makes it
right.
totally loving and accepting.
Yes. Oh, so okay. Oh, this is a random. So when someone is telling the truth, somebody tells me the truth of something. It's the truth, their truth, anyways, right? And I hear it, and I either don't believe them, or want them to defend it, or need them to prove it. All those kind of things. Um, the truth isn't involved in there, is it? Because neither one could have the truth, because it's a perception or an
Yeah,
experience.
that absolutely. The truth is not the perception of the truth. Right? The truth is being, and so it is beyond all concepts. It's beyond all categorizations. It's beyond all human research. So, if a conversation between two people is two honest hearts trying to cut through their own illusions of perception and get to the deeper truth, then you have satsang. If
Oh,
more than our agreement on something. And
oh,
and if we would really conduct business in our countries and communities like that, we wouldn't have war. We wouldn't have the problems that we're having. But they're all arguments for a particular point of view, violent arguments for a
mm,
particular point of view, and that's trying to assert itself. And if it's trying to assert itself, it's obviously weak because the truth doesn't need to do that.
right, exactly. So here's the kicker question before we go into our question here. Are we truly seeking anything?
Well, you're going to take it all the way here, aren't you? Um, the 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 phase in spiritual life of the seeker is an essential one, and everyone goes through that. That's when I realized that good God, I've been scratching my nose and it isn't working. What is the real deal? And when it's sincere, you seek it out. You seek out the teachers, you seek out the books, you watch stuff, you learn. And if you're really honest with it, you begin to scrutinize, you begin to question assumptions, you look at where it's coming from, right? and and you try to find the very, very, very best. um, there's a point, though, at which you find that when you are doing self-inquiry, that even the activity of the seeking mind is being watched by something else. And that something else is not seeking. And then you find that the seeking and the seeker are both being watched by the sought.
Yes, somebody just wrote that. Yes, and very good use of terms there. Past tense and the sought. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
The seeker is always seeking themselves. And at first it's looking everywhere because we've all conditioned, just like we start, there's something out here that if I get it, the itch will be satisfied. And eventually, it's the ultimate itch, which is the desire for freedom, right? The desire to know who you are, which is, perfect freedom and eternal happiness. That's the ultimate itch. Now, once we realize that, right, we'll be seeking outside for a while, just because that's all we knew. And little by little, that it becomes more and more internal. The teacher will continue to guide you inward and inward until all that habit energy of looking outside begins to diminish itself. And then you discover that you have been a wave traveling thousands of miles looking for the ocean.
Mm.
Or the picture on the screen, going mountains and across seas and out into space, looking for its source. Right? Well, it's the screen. The image of someone looking for their source can't be there without the screen. It is the screen. You know? The image on the screen is the screen. It is not an image on the screen. There is no separation whatsoever. The reality of you right now as your life is the self. And there's just this idea that this is something other than the self. Right?
Mm.
This, like the computer screen, the image on the screen is the screen. It's the behavior of the screen, the functioning of everything in the world, the body, the mind, every thought, every experience, every every smell is the self. It is simply the manifest self. There is no separation.